Hello, night owls. It's time for another midnight matinee. So, hopefully, you've got your snacks and some quiet time so you can focus, and we'll present to you another fantastic film. Keeping in mind, once again, that fantastic is, of course, an opinion. And I use fantastic only in the sense of whether a movie was entertaining. Hopefully, the more of these you see, the more you'll understand that's how I do it. And you're as surprised as I am that I'm recommending this movie. Let me just start with the movie itself. The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. Yeah, that's actually the title. And it stars Sam Elliott, which is really one of the main reasons I bothered to watch it, but we'll get into that later. It has Aidan Turner, and then something I always enjoy is it also has Larry Miller in it. This movie actually had 7 or 6 nominations and a win. Now, we're not talking about the overhyped, agenda-driven Golden Globes and garbage like that. We're talking about festivals that still are looking for talent and content. And this was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Independent Film. Oddly enough, the Hawaii Film Critics Society Award for Best New Filmmaker and Best Overlooked Film. And it definitely should have won that one because this movie was largely overlooked naturally. I mean, the title is off-putting to many people. But this movie's fantastic. It was a nominee at the IFMCA for Best Original Score. And it won the Nevada City Film Festival Jury Award for Heart of Gold Award for Excellence in Storytelling. And believe it or not, it really does have an incredible story. It sounds generic, but it's not. It won one other nominee also at a European Film Festival. So I think it's great that it at least won one award because it certainly deserved it. And I love to see unique stories get any kind of notice. So I used to, and I still try to follow movies from their inception. So when I saw that there was a movie that was called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, I knew that was roused for me. That is a midnight matinee showing if I ever heard of one. That is the kind of movie that I count down the days until I get to see. But I was expecting a cheese fest, just a ridiculous film. And we're not saying that this isn't in the realm of the fantastical, of course, but still, I mean, cheese fest, like Sharknado level ludicrous. Then, after some time, I saw that Sam Elliott was signed on to star. And Sam Elliott is at one time not my favorite actor, but an actor I really respect. If there's something I want to see and it has Sam Elliott, I know I'm in for a treat. I know he's going to bring the talent. And so when I saw that he signed on for this, I knew there was no way that this was going to be quite the cheese fest I was expecting. And I was extremely intrigued. And finally it came out. A simple plot summary is that Sam Elliott plays a legendary American war veteran and is recruited to hunt a mythical creature. All right, that's one of them. Another one, his name is Calvin Barr. He is, at this point in his life, an old, melancholy recluse who was once an undercover soldier agent for the U.S. military who was tasked and was successful in killing Hitler. And now he's been asked to come out of retirement for another top-secret mission to track down and eliminate the Bigfoot. There's actually a reason for this. It's not just a random, the government wants this mythical creature taken out. But I feel like that might spoil it, and I don't want to offer any spoilers here. So, that's the plot. This film was very good. stumbling over my words there a little bit, trying to find where I want to go next. Apparently, this is the writer-director's first film, and it's incredible. A lot of times when it's somebody's first film, you are left with not the best product. But this movie is polished. It has great cinematic shots. It's brilliant and it's beautiful. The picture is clear and crisp, which I would have expected maybe lower quality, considering he didn't have a huge budget. And some movies that even come out today, they don't have the crispest sound or picture. The visual effects, though, were created by a 2-time Academy Award winner, Douglas Trumbull. Yeah, he's the guy behind 2001: A Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Silent Running, and more. He was an executive producer for this movie. So apparently, between that kind of talent and Sam Elliott, these people really believed in this movie and wanted to get this movie made, because it's not the kind of movie that you'd expect Oscar winners to be attached to. And that should tip you off. If you are into movies, those are the kind of things you look for that let you know that, hey, this movie might be better than it has any right to be. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not have a flawless record in recommending films. And of course, I don't know anybody that agrees 100% all the time. The IMDb rating on this is just below a 6. I don't know what people are expecting when they watch this. Maybe they wanted more action. It is a slower movie. But, Blade Runner, Silent Running, they had their bursts of action, but they were also slow burn movies. So it makes sense. This movie is about Calvin Barr. It's not really about his great adventures or even his current adventure. It's about a man carrying regret and nearing the end of his life. And I like personal stories. I like stories that bring me in to the main character, or even characters. Aidan Turner plays a young Calvin in the flashbacks back to the war. And he doesn't mimic Sam Elliott, but he gives a great performance so you don't get bored and just want to get back to modern day and Sam Elliott. Aidan Turner does a great performance in his role as young Calvin. I feel like I want to stop there for anybody that doesn't want spoilers. My overall take on this movie for you before I move on to the next part is it's a brilliant movie. It's an emotional movie. It's a deeply moving movie, all wrapped around this bigger than life idea about the assassination attempts on Hitler and the mythology of Bigfoot. It's ridiculous to say out loud. It's hilarious to look at that on paper, but I really cannot recommend this movie enough. I think that this is a movie most people really should watch. Should absolutely watch this. That said, there's going to be some more non-spoilery stuff, but I'm going to get a bit into spoilers here. So that's your warning. Spoiler warning. If you want to get out here. Beginning with that is I have 2 complaints about the movie. One is that Bigfoot looks a little cheesy to me. I've never seen a good Bigfoot, and this one isn't any better. I've seen Bigfoot and Harry and the Hendersons, which was pretty cool, and nothing else is immediately jumping to mind. There have been plenty of him, but he always looks like a man in a suit to some degree, or worse. And this one is maybe one of the worst. But again, for the budget that they had and the cinematography it's fantastic, and I can be kind of forgiving of it. Also, they might have been trying to go a little more realistic, perhaps, with the Bigfoot. Not so much that it ruins it, that when you see him, you're like, well, that's not Bigfoot. I mean, it's Bigfoot, but maybe not what you're expecting. So maybe manage your expectations for his appearance. The other is very minor, and again, it's mildly spoilery. It's an edit that I personally would have done differently. There's a very large buildup when the government tries to get him to come out of retirement to hunt Bigfoot, and it does a lot of flashbacks because he's carrying this weight on his shoulders from the war. And there's actually an analogy in the film for that that's beautifully done. It's almost something you don't notice until it comes all the way around to the home run. But it sort of just jumps to him accepting it, and he's already hunting Bigfoot. He never packs up, he never goes, he never begins hunting, he never starts tracking. He's just sort of in the middle of tracking Bigfoot. And I thought that was kind of odd. I thought it could have used maybe another 5 or 10 minutes of him getting to the point where he's hunting Bigfoot, where he's on his trail. But, that's a minor. That's minor. Also, I did mention Larry Miller. I didn't mention Ron Livingston. I should have done that because he's a semi-important character as well. But anyways, Larry Miller is a great addition. I really like that actor a lot. He's usually very funny. He surprised me in this. He plays Sam Elliott's younger brother, and he brings just the smallest bit of humor into this film without breaking the mood of the film and being a distraction. If anything, he adds another wonderful layer of bittersweetness to the film. Perhaps the flashbacks distracted some viewers who don't particularly care for movies that aren't linear in the storytelling. The content may just not be for some people, no matter what. Nothing ever hits 100% across the board. For me, it works the way it was told, with the flashbacks would come and in what order they arrived. And on a personal note, for me, in one flashback to Nazi Germany, they're boarding people on a train, and this is the kind of detail I appreciate. They didn't go for the simple, lazy route of only having the prisoners wear yellow Star of David symbols like the Jews wore in those concentration camps. Several of the different triangles that were prominent in those camps are included on the shoulder patches, including the purple triangle and a couple of the others. It's not necessary to the movie, but it adds extra care and detail, and I admire that in a film. Again, I can't believe I have so many good things to say about a movie with this title. And as you can see from the poster, it got a 5-star from someone saying it's an absolute American classic, and I'd have to agree. This is, if you're a fan of Sam Elliott, the aged, battered, maybe not warrior, but man facing his own mortality, who has learned because of his age and experience that he can't run from his past. He will always have it with him. Those kind of movies have always interested me ever since I was a little person. I've always enjoyed them. So, really, I recommend this movie. You'll be surprised considering the title of how much love and detail went into this movie. It's certainly one of the deeper movies I'll recommend on Midnight Matinee. I like to go for a lot of fun and silly and ridiculous movies. But this is one I just felt I had to put up here. It's one I recommended to a handful of friends because I don't think too many people either know about it or are willing to give that title a chance. But Sam Elliott, man, he has so much gravitas. You believe that this was a soldier in the flashbacks of Nazi Germany and that to where he is today. And I just love a performance like his. There's not a lot of actors that can do the kind of acting that Sam Elliott and a handful of older ones do. And they did that even when they were younger. You go back to, I want to say it was Tombstone that Sam Elliott was in. And of course, he was in 100 other Westerns and Roadhouse. And he's always been just a gripping actor. His performance grabs you in anything he's in. And this is no different. So please, if you have the time, you need a midnight watch, check this film out. Tell me in the comments what you think about it, what you thought about it. And we'll see you the next time that we have quiet time to watch a film. And once again, with all of my reviews, This is ironclad and inarguable, so I expect nothing but collective head nods of sycophantic agreement in the comments. Thanks, and thanks for watching.